Hey guys, I felt inspired to do this video because there are young girls, young women out there whose low self-esteem is directly um, related to the condition and or the texture of their hair. And I just wanted to give some hints and tips to people who may be considering going natural, who are on the fence, don't know much about it, who are afraid to do it, or just people who just have questions. Okay, now to make this relatively short, I had to write down my thoughts. Okay, the first thing I would say is don't believe the hype. Understand that we are all conditioned to believe the standard of beauty is for straight hair. For the most part, things are trying to change a little bit, but because you see the weaves and the wigs and the straight hair does not mean that you don't have your own beauty. Okay, you have to remember that there is a reason why our hair is the way it is, and that we have a different standard of beauty. And what you need to do is flaunt it, get excited about it, roll with it, love it, because it's who you are. It is a part of you. It is your natural being. Okay. Secondly, understand you care for natural hair or afro textured hair differently than you would straight hair. So what you want to do is take a look at the styling tools that you're using and throw them out. I mean, when I went natural, I did not use a comb. I mean, I have not used a comb, when my hair is in its afro state. To the point now that I use my fingers, my hands to finger detangle 95% of the time. I seldom put a um, styling utensil to my hair. Now that I have it flat ironed, I will take a tangle teaser and just, run it through, a couple of times. But other than that, I'm in the shower, whatever. I am finger detangling. That's the difference. Because you're trying to push a, pull a comb through your kinks and curls and coils, it's just not natural for your natural hair to have to go through that. So you're going to be tearing hair out. It's just going to be just a painful experience. Secondly, you need to moisturize it before you manipulate it. Wet it before you manipulate it. If some people do use a wide tooth comb, and it might work for them, but if you're trying to cultivate slash grow your hair, then be very careful about the styling tools that you use. When you're transitioning, some people don't want to let go of length. I was one of those people for a minute. Your hair is at its most delicate, vulnerable state, especially when where the two textures meet. Okay, so you have to remember there are two textures, so therefore there are two different ways to manipulate and care for them. Right there where they both meet is where the agony comes in, and that's why I wound up big chopping. I think I chopped, it might have been 6 to 8 inches off my hair. So anyway, you have to understand the dynamics of both hair textures and then make a decision whether or not you want to deal with that, or do you want to get rid of the old hair. What All hair, I guess, could be considered dead, and once it comes, I'm no scientist or expert or whatever, but for all intents and purposes, the relaxed hair is dead because it's got chemicals that just broke it down to the hill. Okay. Um, Also, with natural hair, sometimes you just have to let it do what it do. If it's humid outside or if it's raining or whatever, just roll with it. Style your hair based on the weather if you have that kind of concern. Do the research. There are loads of blogs. I say this all the time. I recommend it all the time. There are loads of YouTube videos with hairstyle, how-tos, tips, tutorials, and everything else. It is a plethora of information out there for, I mean, you could just spend days and days on YouTube. Trust me, I have. But use your resources, utilize your resources. If you see someone out and you really like their hair, ask them. Ask, don't be afraid to ask. All they can say is, I don't want to tell you, or no, that's the worst case scenario. Also, understand that you can manipulate natural hair to look like, to like take the form of any texture. Let me put it that way. A lot of times people don't know if I'm wearing a wig or if I have extensions or if it's my hair. It's like, well, how did she get it straight? Now, it was kind of straight before, but it was bushy, it was thicker, and wait a minute, she had an afro. Is that her afro? People are always wondering and guessing. And had I known then what I know now, I would have never gotten a relaxer. I could have just, if I wanted my hair long and straight, I could have just flat ironed it or had it straightened or something. And then I let it go back to its natural state. And then I could have, if I wanted the curls, which for the longest I was trying to figure out how people were wearing those big, fluffy, spirally curls. Well, all along, it was a twist out. I could have been doing that all along. But I didn't know. Okay, and let's see what else we got here. And also, just know that you want to make sure that you keep your hair moisturized. Some people say that their hair does not grow. I used to think my hair didn't grow or that it grew very slowly. Well, that was because I was always manipulating it, and I really wasn't, trying to grow it out. I didn't know this, that I wasn't deliberately trying to grow it out. So, and now I understand that Afro hair has a coil or curl pattern. So, like the natural oils, the sebum that comes from the scalp doesn't go all the way down the hair shaft. That's why the hair can get dry and brittle. That's why we have to manually go in and add the moisture. Now, that's general information, but that's the basics. I mean, if you follow that rule of thumb, if train of thought, then that kind of tells you, okay, well, I can do this. All right. Now, these are my quick tips, my quick keys to cultivating natural hair. If you are trying to grow it out, now, if you're not trying to grow it out and you're fine with it the way it is, that's cool. But if you're trying to actually retain length and let your hair just grow and retain health and all that good stuff, the first thing you want to do is start with healthy ends. Get rid of the dead ends. I don't care how much of it has to come off because it's no good keeping dead ends. The longer you keep them, the worse off your hair is going to be. Second one is moisturize, moisturize, moisturize. Everybody's hair is different. Okay, so you have to find what suits your hair, what works for your hair. Okay, most of us have multiple textures in our hair, curl patterns. So I really don't know what mine is, but I know there are several. So what I did is I just looked at people whose hair was pretty much similar to mine and on YouTube, and then I figured out what they did, and now I do it, and it has worked wonders. Okay. Um, Lastly, low manipulation. Those are the three main keys that I have done throughout this journey, my hair growth journey. Low manipulation. So you're looking at healthy ends, moisturize, low manipulation, and then the rest is silk. No pun intended. Anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there and give you those tips. And next, I'll be sharing my complete hair care strategy on how I actually cultivated my hair from, um, well, I shouldn't say from, but to this length. Okay? All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one. Okay? I'll talk to you later. Smooches.